So we know money lenders, but what about legal ones for company? This is Mission Unite, no bullshit business. Hi, welcome to Mission Unite. Here we uncover the no bullshit stories from successful individuals and ignite your dreams to success. Today, we have invited Ryan, the founder and managing director of Fund Solutions. He began his journey in a bustling world of finance, armed with a passion of innovation and unwavering commitment to providing exceptional financial solutions. Today, Ryan is here to share with us his compounding stories of his entrepreneurial journey from the initial spark of founding his company through the challenges and setbacks he has faced to where he is today. Welcoming Ryan!
Hi, Tilison. Thank you for having me today. Yeah.
It's our absolute pleasure. So that said, right, why don't you start off by telling us a little bit about yourself and your business?
Okay. My name is Ryan. I'm the founder of Fund Solutions. So my background is I started my financial career in OCBC, selling property loans such as commercial and industrial property loans. Then after 1.5 years in OCBC, I actually moved to UOB where I spent my most banking years there. So in UOB, I learned the most and I spent around 4 years there. And after that, I actually moved out of banking career to a private sector company. So in the private sector company actually opened my eyes to a lot of things. And I spent 1.5 years in the private sector before starting Fund Solutions.
Right, so what does Fund Solutions do?
Fund Solution is in fact a platform where we match borrowers and lenders together. So we will actively reach out to SME owners where they will have funding requirements, and that's where our skill set lies, correct? We will help them source for funds through our financing partners, like major banks and also other private financial institutions.
Oh, I see. So wait, so you only do loans for like companies or like personal loan also you guys do it?
We do, but main bulk of our business is on SME loans.
I see. So wait, but this is what? Legal, lending business in a way?
Yes, it is legal lending. What you heard about unlicensed money lending is actually more towards personal loans.
So you guys are what? Governed by like the MAS and all, is that right?
In fact, in the eyes of law, private limited lending money to another business is actually not illegal.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that. Now we know.
Yeah. So, in fact, there are 4 types of businesses: sole proprietor partnerships, limited liability partnerships, and private limited. So you need to be very careful on this. So lending money to private limited is actually legal, but if you are lending to sole proprietor or partnerships, it falls into the gray area where is considered personal lending.
Oh, I see. But so, okay, I'm curious here, because this is no bullshit business after all, right? Is there any circumstances, many years of business that people actually, take loans from the company and then end up actually putting into their own pocket?
In the lending business, where the lenders have decided to lend them the money, the business owner actually have the freedom to transfer the money anywhere they like lah.
So in case got chance
Yeah, got chance, but we pretend we don't know lah.
I see. I mean to them to you is you're just lending the money out. Whatever they do with it is entirely up to the company, right?
Correct. Okay, so we have to be clear. Fund Solution is actually a financial service company. Yeah, we don't do our lending. We don't do our own lending.
Okay.
We are actually a service provider where we find SME owners who requires financing for their business, and we match it to lenders where they will lend the money to them.
I see. Okay, so I don't know whether if this is sensitives, right? But in your current portfolio over the years that you have, right, how big is your lending capacity or track records for the matter?
In fact, Fund Solution has been around for 7 years. And throughout these 7 years, I think easily we have managed to find more than 100 million of funding
Oh, wow.
for our clients.
Wow.
Yeah. So in the loan industry, there are many types of loans. Maybe I just summarize. The main types are the unsecured lending, unsecured term loans, the property loans, and the trade financing. Yeah.
I see. So the thing is that you mentioned SME is quite a fair bit. That's what I heard.
Correct.
I'm curious also because some of our viewers, right, they're very young. They're also looking at having their own startups as well. Do you guys support them?
You mean startup companies with no track record wants to find financing?
Correct, exactly.
Okay. Usually we don't.
Okay.
But we will at least guide these startups on how to manage your business so that you can secure the financing in the earliest possible time. So earliest possible time would be at least 6 months from your date of incorporation or from the time you start your business.
Okay.
Because for all financial institutions or for all lenders, they actually require 6 months bank statements for your business so that they can assess your sales revenue each month and decide what is the correct loan quantum to lend you.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Yeah. Well, I mean, most of us, when we start a business, we have never thought of that, right? We will probably look for grants, and only in SME, right, when they want to expand, then that's why they look for capital for you guys to actually help inject capital into their business. Is that right?
Correct. So the SME owners need to do their own budgeting. So because lending, there is a cost. There's a cost of borrowing, correct?
Yes.
So you need to make sure that your sales revenue or your profits from the projects can actually cover this financing cost. Then you take the loan. But most of the SME owners, they chung. They only chung sales, but they are not accounting trained or what. So they only borrow to do the project. But in fact, by borrowing to do the project, they are actually losing money.
Right. So now, so I need to ask for a couple of questions here because once we talk about the loans part, I think there are many questions that people are curious about. First thing first, right? In your company, again, track record, right? What's your success rate for actually helping these companies find loans, usually?
Our success rate, I would say is more on the time. It's quite high. It's maybe 90% of the time we are able to find money for the customer. But the thing is sometimes some SMEs needs to prepare their bank statements before they can get the funds.
Right. Yeah. So for all those that are looking for loans out there, right, you can look for them. They have a 90% success rate. Yes. That is very high, by the way. Yeah. Wow. So now the second question I'm asking, right, is that, so for any companies that are actually looking for loans, what so you mentioned that 6 months. You mentioned that bank statements, right? What are the requirements usually required for a successful loan application?
First thing first, lenders, they actually look at the character of the business owner. This is where we can find some answers from their credit bureau report and their NOA where they declare their personal income. So banks actually look at the trend of your last 2 years NOA, whether is it increasing or decreasing to sort of get a gauge of how are you drawing the salary from your company.
Right.
Next, some of the documents they look at is the track record or the past performance of the business, which is the 6 months bank statements and also the 2 years financial statements.
Yeah. So that's the reason why just now you mentioned that startup is a little bit harder because they need a 2 years financial statements and all.
Correct. But then again, banks like DBS or OCBC, they actually have a special program to help startups.
Right.
And they don't require a 2 years financial statements. All they need is just your 6 months bank statements. They can give you a business first loan.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So how small can a business loan be and how big can a business loan be?
Business loan generally can range from 50,000 all the way to 500,000 if we are talking about unsecured basis.
Right.
Yeah. if we are talking about if you have a collateral where you can pledge to the bank, the amount will depend on the property value or the collateral value.
Right. So all the things that your 2 year statement, what sort of revenue you're able to bring in, right? Should anything happen, right? What sort of assets can we liquefy to actually return? Right. That's interesting. So ladies and gentlemen out there you go, right? Some requirements for you to think about, right? Before you secure a loan. So that's it. Back to you, Ryan, right? I'm very curious, when we talk about fund solution, based on the last, a few minutes of conversation about loans, I realized that your experience is extensive as you introduce yourself. So, why the financial industry in the first place?
Actually, when I was in university, I was actually engineer trained.
Oh wow! So you engineer and then you switch over to finance. Right. Why?
Because the year where I graduated was about 2-3 years after the Lehman crisis.
Okay.
And so in the engineering industry, they are not really keen to hire fresh graduates. So I actually started my career in MOE for first year. Then after that, I moved into the financial industry.
Wait. So I need to get this here. There are a few questions that they know when you ask the question, they just perplex. Number one is because you look actually quite young.
Yeah.
Right. Don't mind me asking, how old are you?
I'm 38 this year.
Oh, you're 38. Okay, wow. So that's the question is, so you started at MOE. And what do you do in MOE there?
I was teaching chemistry and design and technology.
So you were a teacher?
Yes, I was a full trained teacher in Pierce Secondary School.
Oh, wow. And you left MOE as a teacher to banking finance?
Correct.
Why? Because you mentioned Lehman Brothers and all. Isn't that the bad time to enter?
Truth be told, I was clueless at that time on what I want to be. I think it happens for many fresh grads out there. They may be trained in engineering or finance, but they don't know which career path to take. So at that time, I consulted many seniors, and a lot of them told me that sales can earn money. And I went for the interview.
Okay.
And this is an interesting story. I went for 2 interviews with OCBC on the same day. And first interview was as a personal financial consultant, which is the consumer banking side.
Okay.
And the second interview was in the afternoon with the corporate banking side. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, both interviewers were quite tough. And when so it was the second interviewer that really
Set you
strike a
apart.
chord with me. So I asked her one question.
Okay.
So what is the difference between consumer banking and corporate banking? So this was her answer. So consumer banking, you take money from them to invest in unit trusts or endowment plans.
Okay.
But in corporate banking, we lend them the money.
Oh, wow.
We give them the money. So which one do you think is easier?
That's a good way to put it.
Correct. So I had a thought about it. I say, of course, lending money is easier. So he said that lending money is easier, so the commission will be lower.
Right. So in the end, which one where do you go to?
So I was at a crossroad, correct, whether to accept my role as a personal financial consultant or a corporate banker.
Yes.
So I chose corporate banking.
I
chose corporate banking, doing commercial, industrial, property loans. Yeah.
And the reason, because it's what is.
The reason is they offer higher basic.
So end of it, then it's still the same.
And we don't have to work on weekend.
Right. Oh yeah, personal, you have to work on because of clients.
And you need to cold call after office hours, after 6, where most of the people have the time to talk to you.
Right. Yeah. So when was the moment that you decided to actually leave the banking and all, right, and started your own company?
I was actually I was actually quite burnt out in the banking industry. So I decided to make a move to the private sector and see what is there to offer me, what private sector can offer me. So I think I think it was a very good move lah, where I actually opened my eyes to the private sector, because in the banks actually you are too busy
Okay.
with all the trainings, with all the meetings, with all the appointments, busy chasing meeting the monthly targets, and you don't get to see the world outside. So when I moved to the private sector, the best thing that happened to me was time.
So you found back about work-life balance in a way.
Correct. I had a lot of time on hand, and I had the time to learn new things and explore more opportunities, networking. So that stint in the private sector actually gave me a lot of insights, where I decided to start my own business in 2017.
Right. So when you started off Fund Solutions in 2017, what was the mission of Fund Solution that you envisioned?
I actually wanted to use my skill set to value add to my clients. Yeah. And I know for sure that all SME business, they require financing or funding sometime in their growth, sometime in their lifetime.
As long as they want to expand and all, definitely they will need some funding.
Correct. If they want to expand, they want to hire, they want to grow their business, definitely the fastest way is to borrow.
Right.
Instead of waiting for your profits to accumulate, the fastest way is to borrow this money and expand your business.
I see. So you actually use your expertise that you have and you saw an opportunity and that's where you jumped in.
Correct.
So can you quickly just describe, because you mentioned that in the bank you don't have much time. Now, right, you said you have much more free time, right? How's the time spent now in Fund Solutions for you?
Now I mainly spend my time to train and mentor young people who wants to carve out a name for themselves in this career. And I spend a lot of time encouraging and motivating our sales team and give them a direction where we can work together as a whole to grow Fund Solutions.
Right. So Fund Solutions has been there for like 7 years or so, right? Now, looking back at your journey from then to now, right? What are some major roadblocks, challenges you face? Because I'm sure there's quite a fair bit, right?
I think one of the major roadblock is when you are working with major banks, the banks have their own branding. So when you are in SME like Fund Solution, there are a lot of times that you need to sell more of yourself rather than the branding that the banks already have.
I see.
Yeah. And another major obstacle I find is, as an SME, is quite difficult for us to attract talents from local universities where these fresh graduates actually looking for a more stable job or a more colorful role in major banks or major companies. Yeah. So how do we overcome this is through practice, I feel. For the first obstacle, I think you have to keep telling yourself that you can bring value to your clients. Yeah, so you have to keep practicing and keep talking to new clients and sell yourself. It becomes habitual and it becomes a second nature for you. Right. And for the second obstacle, which I am still trying to find a way to overcome this, is through a lot of marketing, branding, through word of mouth.
That's it. Maybe let's use the opportunity here in this podcast, right? That if let's say today, I put a young, fresh grad in Singapore from you, right? Maybe you could tell us, how lucrative this career is.
In the general sense, I don't really like to use monetary terms to attract new hires. I rather they see value in what they do and see value in what they can create for their clients. Yeah, it may sound a bit deep, but I feel if you use money to attract people, more or less, these people cannot grow.
It's hard to sustain because, once you reach this level, you want more.
Yeah.
Right? There's no sense of fulfillment in a way.
Correct. I feel that you need to have a higher purpose rather than money. Yeah.
So this career then, what sort of higher purpose are we looking at?
Maybe I share with you one of my personal story.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So in our line of work, sometimes we meet clients that are on the verge of bankruptcy. Sometimes it's not due to their mismanagement. Most of the time is their clients don't pay them the money, or they drag a very long period of time. So you may be surprised that there are a lot of MNCs out there or big companies. They actually pay their subcontractor in the period of like 6 months or 12 months.
Wow, they can do that.
Yes.
Oh.
So this action actually will cause some cash flow issue for SME businesses.
Because it's 6 months, no payment.
Correct. And these SME businesses, they need to pay their fixed costs like their rental,
Salaries.
their salaries. Yeah. So when this happened, they actually look for us to actually secure affordable funding for them. So this client of mine was on the verge of bankrupt and he was desperate. So I managed to find a sizable loan for him to tide over this crisis. Yeah, so because of that, he was very appreciative and he remembers that during this rock bottom period of time, I actually stepped up to help him tide over this period of time.
Yes.
And because of that, he recovered and he continued to give me business because he feels that if I had not stepped in during that time, he would have went bankrupt. Yeah.
Right. So you were like a supporting pillar for him, for him to change his whole view and probably even help support some of his staff, quite a bit of staff to continue, right, their own family income as well.
Yeah.
But that's quite a big impact that you're helping here.
So this kind of feedback from our clients actually give me a sense of accomplishment that I am creating value for these clients. So this is one thing that I keep in mind, that whenever I talk to new clients, I am there to create value for them.
Right. Now, that said, when you talk about having roadblocks that you clear, and then you talk about you helping their roadblocks, right? And in today's world, we understand that mental health is important, right? So as you yourself as an individual, what keep you motivated to keep on going like that? Because these SMEs, they have you, right? But what about yourself? Who do you have, or what keeps you going?
I have a very supportive family who support my entrepreneurial journey, and of course, throughout my years, I actually recruited a few capable leaders that are in my company right now, and they provide very constructive feedback on how we can grow the business together. Yeah.
Right. So you said that you actually managed to find key players, key staff, right, in a company, right, to actually help you build this whole company itself. Now that said, there are bound again to be some conflict, right? How do you resolve conflicts like that? Team management, for that matter.
I would say proper communication channels are very important. They need to know that their feedback is actually heard, and we are working together for a better future or a better company environment. I think this is very important.
Yeah. So the past, 20 minutes or so, when you're talking, I realized that actually you're very motivated. You're actually very focused on your end goal and helping your clients, how the whole loan industry should work and things like that. Now, the question that I have for you, because you've been through, MOE, right? Bang. And then now, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, is there any point in time that you ever doubted about your decision, right, to start off this company?
No, I have not. Yeah.
Why not?
I find that this entrepreneurial journey that I have is very fun and is ever changing. We have to adapt to the environment, to the macro environment, and we have to adapt to our team feedback, and we have to adjust along the way, and it's very fun and enriching. Yeah. Not to mention that from our clients' feedback, through our quality service, we can actually help them achieve their dreams and grow the business together.
Right. So instead of helping, becoming just a loan vendor in a way, you all and now become like friends and like fighting together towards a
Correct.
common goal
Yes.
with their own companies. Wow, that's very interesting, right? So now we go back to the business itself, right? Once we talk about the loan industry, the financial industry, and this side of financial industry, especially for more people, unless they're entrepreneurs, they are boss themselves, they will have known about it. But for most of our viewers, right, who are new, who are starting up, right, actually, what sort of market trends, right, do you actually foresee in terms of like loans and finance with businesses? Right, because you mentioned that more often than not, you have business owners that take loans and then they end up going deeper and deeper and deeper, right? So what sort of advice can you give us there?
I feel that businesses should be able to manage their budget or manage their financing more prudently. They need to calculate their profit margin before taking up a loan to finance this project.
Right.
This is very important because more often than not, if the financing cost is too high, the purpose of you securing this project may be obsolete because you are losing money by doing this project. Yeah. So a lot of times it's also due to the execution of the project, because sometimes delay in a project may not be caused by you, but it happens. Some delays in project, it happens. And when delays happen, there are penalties.
Right.
So when these penalties adds up to the financing cost, you're actually losing money by doing this project. So as a business owner, you have to be very prudent in calculating all these costs and profits.
Right. So there you go, right, ladies and gentlemen out there, the viewers out there. Wise word from Ryan himself, right? So if you're looking at a business that you start off and kick off, you always have to grasp your P&L, your balance sheet well, right? Because sometimes more often than not, we are, in the motivation, in the fire, right, of getting things started, we might forego and foresee certain scenarios that we didn't plan for, and things might go haywire then and there.
Yes, you are right.
Right. So again, Ryan, back to you, Ryan. Currently, in today again, we go back to technology as well, right? Does technology factors come into play in your sector?
Definitely. The term fintech, I'm sure you have heard of it.
Yeah, I mean, most of us heard of it. It's a
Yeah.
new term in the last
correct.
2 or 3 years, right?
Yes.
There's fintech. I think there are new terms like insurtech. Yeah, and I think there's one more as well.
Yeah, edutech.
Oh yes, edutech. Yeah, that's the one I'm looking for.
Yeah,
Right.
there are so many fintech companies that are branding themselves as fintech. But then again, of course, I would say technology plays a part in every one of our lives.
Right.
And finance technology is the more up and coming one. Yeah, like you are familiar with all the Atomy.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
like the one you got some 3 months breakdown statement plan
correct.
and
Buy
all.
now, pay later.
Yes,
all these
yes.
are some of the examples of the fintech companies that are around. And of course, there are many payment solutions
Right.
like FavePay, GrabPay,
Shopback, things like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So we need to keep ourselves abreast with the latest technology news,
Right.
so that we don't get left behind.
Yeah. And in your industry, or rather your company yourself, are you guys looking to embark anywhere there?
Not at the moment, because right now there are actually digital banks.
Right.
Yeah, such as Anex Bank, Greenlink Digital Bank, and even Mari Bank. All these digital banks are up and coming in supporting our clients in securing affordable loans. So we leave the technology to them, and we
Don't leverage off them.
correct. We improve ourselves in terms of our clients' interaction and relationship.
So these banks, they come in more of a partner with you guys rather than a competitor.
Correct. They are our financing partners.
Right, I see. Wow. So when you talk about partnership and all, one of the questions that we have in all entrepreneurship, right, and especially for you, right, which touch on SME that much, right, is the networking and industrial relationship, right? How do you view that? Is it very important? Is it something that you actually manage to leverage on?
I feel that for networking, it shouldn't be a chore. Networking for me is everyday life. Yeah.
It's like find anyone, have some coffee.
Correct. It is part of and parcel of my life, and it is inbuilt already. So networking is definitely important. There is one statement or one slogan that my ex-boss used to say is your network is your net worth.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah, we all heard of that.
Correct. So in our line of work, it is important or crucial to know more clients or more partners in the financing industry so that we can better equip ourselves in providing advice or financing solutions for our clients. Yeah.
So I'm curious here. That's it, right? Any stories to back that up?
Actually, there are many stories to tell you, but there are actually too many stories to tell.
Okay, so for this podcast, we will skip this. And next time, any of you guys, manage to find Ryan for coffee, do ask him on this.
Sure.
So that's it. Now, looking back, right? What is the one thing that you wish you knew before you started this journey as an entrepreneur?
I wish they told me that hiring is so difficult. Yeah. And because as a SME, when I'm just one person, a lot of things I can decide for myself.
Right.
But when I wanted to expand to a team of now 7 to 8 people,
right.
A lot of times I find managing their expectation is kind of tough. Yeah. And hiring is also very difficult for SMEs. I think all SMEs in Singapore share the same challenges. Yeah. Yep.
So there you go, guys. No bullshit business out from Ryan, right, himself. It's tough, right, hiring the right people here in Singapore itself.
Yep.
Yeah. So then again, right, most of us as a young entrepreneur, like what you mentioned, we started as one, right?
Yeah.
And you wanted to expand to more. Right? If there's one thing you can change based on the problem that you have, right? What would you want to change?
I wouldn't change because I think this is a definite step that I have to take. And without taking this first step, I wouldn't know that hiring is so tough. And it's only through all these trial and errors that I can actually form a kind of management decision for myself. Yeah. And I learn from all these experiences.
So you have to get out there, you have to experience it, then from the experience, and that's where you actually learn things.
Correct.
But let's say, when we had that conversation previously, you said that your ex-bosses and all, is there any particular mentors that in your life actually guide you through this career as well?
No. Actually, when I first started this business, I kept brainwashing myself and say that I don't think I will fail lah. I don't think I will fail. I think I can succeed. I think this is something that I tell myself every day when I stepped on this entrepreneur journey. And from there, I find confidence and grew from there. Yeah.
So is this a methodology or method, right, that you think the young entrepreneurs out there, right, can use to overcome their own self doubts or limitations?
I think for all young entrepreneurs out there, I have this advice for you.
Okay, yes, please. You can look at it and do tell them.
Try not to overthink things.
Okay.
I think every young entrepreneurs out there, they are quite educated. We went through the Singapore education system and they have this bad habit.
Right.
They tend to overthink on things. Actually, the entrepreneur journey is quite dynamic. You just step into it, adjust and learn from your experience, adjust again and continue this entrepreneur journey. It's that simple. At the same time, it's not simple. Yes. So there's a lot of trial and error that you need to, there are a lot of mistakes that you will have to go through. And from these mistakes, tell yourself that it is just an experience. You learn from all this experience, adjust and continue to move forward.
Right. Yeah. So I'm hearing all this from you that a lot of your experience, or rather a lot of your knowledge is learned from experience.
Yep.
Right. But if you could change one thing, right, if you hope that, there's a certain resource that come to you quick, what is that resource? Is it a manual for how to become an entrepreneur, mentorship, networking? Or is it back to the hiring?
I think if there's one resources I need, I think is probably capital, money,
Okay.
investment.
But you're in a business yourself.
Correct. Because in our business, from our business profits to grow into a sizable pool of funds to actually invest the capital back in your business, it really takes a while. Because in Singapore, everything is so expensive, correct? And especially technology. For example, if I want to invest technology into my current business, I need to spend at least a 6-digit figure, and this product may not work. So it is a very expensive mistake if I were
to miscalculate
not
it
succeed lah.
Right.
Yeah. So if there's one resources that can jumpstart my business, it definitely will be money. If with enough money, we can hire the right talents, the right team of people. We can invest in technology. And
more trial and error can happen without worries.
Correct.
Right, I see. Yeah. So again, right now back to you. Because the young ones today, they're very hungry. You're very hungry. You want success fast. Right? And of course, everybody wants to do that. So what's the advice you would give them, right, for them to reach success fast?
Oh, there's no shortcut in life. Everything you need to take step by step. And if you want to find success, it starts within yourself. And a strong mindset is very important.
Right.
You need to believe in yourself and really not to... You can ask people for advice, but it should only be of a reference. There should be a belief system in you that this business that you are going to start out on is going to succeed.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. So when you look at it, like you said, there's a lot of mind changing things that you keep telling yourself that I will succeed, this will not fail. Right? Is there a practice that you practice when you tell yourself that?
Oh, have. Definitely when I switched from a salaried employee to my own business, I need to take a huge leap of faith.
Yeah.
Especially when you are drawing a sizable income, you have commitments like car loans or property loans. This leap of faith is harder. So I think a practice where you can do is, or maybe I tell you this way. When I started my own business, I did a homework. I actually write down what are my strengths and what are my weaknesses.
Okay.
What are the pros and what are the cons of starting your own business?
Well, it's like almost like a SWOT analysis kind of thing.
Correct. So once you pen it down and look at the pros and cons on starting your own business, you need to do a final push to yourself.
What is that final push?
Tender or resignation, quit your job and set up your business in Accra.
So
take this step first and the rest will follow suit.
Right.
Yeah.
Because more often than not, most of us, we fear to take the very first step.
Yep. Don't overthink.
Yeah. But we've been very comfortable. In our current society, we're very comfortable being an employee. We've been comfortable in school. But to take the first step was the scariest. Correct. So your advice is, don't care. Go.
Yeah. Don't be afraid of failures. I'm sure there are a lot of motivational videos out there where they say the same thing in various ways. But it is true. Yeah. So don't be afraid of failures because life is a very long journey.
Right.
Yeah, definitely you need some failures to achieve the success that you want.
Right.
Yeah. And I know in Singapore education system, you fail your exams is something bad. When you fail, your parents hit you, you get afraid.
Yeah.
But don't when you are an entrepreneur, failures are every day or every part of your life. One person cannot be perfect. One business owner, one 老板 cannot be perfect. So you have to play around with things, adjust your ways of handling your team and create a system where most majority people can accept. Yeah.
It's an ever-growing continuous improvement.
Yes, it is. And that's why entrepreneurial journey is so fun and colorful for me.
Right. So in our podcast, right, we ask every single guest here that if there's one word, right, that you stick by to inspiring entrepreneurs out there, what is that one word that you give them?
I mentioned this word earlier in this podcast. I think that one word is belief.
Belief. Why?
You need to have some form of conviction in what you are doing. And what you are doing in your business actually creates value for your clients. As long as you can keep doing this, no matter what other people say, you will not be swayed by all these people. Yeah. And of course, while you're on this journey, you can gain confidence through your clients' feedback or your team feedbacks. Yeah. So take all these feedbacks and adjust again and try to create a better system for your business. So like what I say, believe in yourself, don't sway, have the conviction to know that what you are doing is right. Yeah.
Right. So Ryan, before we end this podcast, right, any final words, right, that you want to leave our audience by to give them a little more encouraging or anything that a lesson that you've learned throughout your whole entrepreneurship journey that you think that might be helpful to them?
Okay. I think entrepreneur journey is not easy. To actually take a step out in this journey, you need to have a very strong mindset. Yeah. Strong mindset as in be focused on what you do. Actually know what are your daily activities. Don't sway for it. Don't be distracted.
Focus.
Don't do too many activities that don't generate the value or the results you want. For the start, the entrepreneur journey, you need to maintain focus,
Right.
not be distracted. Yeah.
As we wrap up today's episode, I would like to extend a heartfelt thank you to Ryan for joining us and sharing such an insightful and inspiring journey. Ryan, your story is a powerful reminder of that we should, while we are on the road to entrepreneurship, it's often filled with challenges, resilience, and innovation. And with that, it actually can lead to remarkable achievements. To our listener out there, we hope that you have found Ryan's experience and advice enlightening, especially if you are standing at the crossroads of your own entrepreneur path. Remember, every setback is a setup for a comeback, and the lessons learned along the way are invaluable stepping stones towards success. I hope this podcast has ignited your mission. Do join us for more no bullshit stories from successful individuals on Mission Ignite.